What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast 412, Fight for Purity. A bold way of looking at challenges that young people are facing. We'll talk about the naked truth of life and how to handle the problems you're thinking but not talking about. So strap in, get ready for another great podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Last time we talked about the benefits of boundaries, and now we're going to talk about the dangers of not being able to set those boundaries.
Yes. So, so one of the things that I was thinking about that, whether you have boundaries or not, or whether you decide you choose to make any for yourself, you have to live every day with boundaries, And one of the things I talked about in one of the first podcasts was about how, laws are boundaries, there's laws in gravity, so you have laws all around you. And so you can choose not to live within a certain boundary. You can choose to break the law, but, eventually you're going to pay a penalty for that, eventually, and depending on what law you break, you can break the law of gravity and break your leg, because, if you jump out, you can jump off a roof if you want. But, eventually, you're going to come down and probably hurt yourself in some way or some form, And so there are laws that we live with every day. There are different, there's laws in electricity, and if you want, you can play around with those laws and get, shocked or get electrocuted, But, so there's, you're out there and you can break laws, but the thing about that is that, it's dangerous, You're going to eventually suffer the consequences of breaking boundaries, or just not having boundaries yourself, If you don't, make a decision to have boundaries in your life, you're going to end up paying the price for it. You're going to pay the price for it, and probably other people around you are going to pay the price for it, relationships that you have, because one of the things that we said about boundaries, it's about, who you allow into your life, what you allow into your life, where you allow your emotions to go, where you allow, your thoughts to go, all those things. If you don't have any boundaries in your life, man, you're going to you're just going to lose so much. You're talking about a catastrophe just waiting to happen, I mean, it may not happen right away, it may not be instant, but eventually, you're gonna pay that price, for not having boundaries,
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing about just people in general, whether you're young or old. If it doesn't happen right away, we're it's fine. If we don't get caught, if you're breaking rules, if, even as an adult, if you're doing something is probably not good for you, you're nothing happened. So it's fine. It must be okay, because, lightning didn't strike, and I think last episode I had said that building boundaries takes time. So does seeing the effects of having boundaries or not having boundaries. Sometimes it takes time, and you don't realize how much other crap you've let into your life or what kind of person you've turned into until it's too late. You're already this person that you didn't want to be or that you don't like. And I think that's just I don't know, it's important, I guess, but that's why it's important to have boundaries. But as people, we hate having boundaries.
We hate being told what to do.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, especially when you're younger, when people tell you, hey, don't do this, don't do that, it's very easy to be shut up, basically. You're I don't want to hear it.
It's what do you know?
Yeah, that's very, oh, you're old, or
it's old fashioned, or
not, and there that too. But then there's also just pure rebellion.
That
just
passive aggressiveness.
Yeah, who, I'm gonna, I know some people, me included, because I was like this too, I know there's consequences, but I'm just gonna do it anyways, because, it's my life, I can do what I want, and blah, 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 blah. But then you don't realize that you're hurting yourself and people in the process, or you think you can...
It's you can damage control.
Yeah, you think you can handle it. You almost think, I can handle the damage that will come from this, or I can, stop right before it, the big,
But there's...
Yeah, fall.
Yeah, there's stuff that follows you, though. It's
Yeah, but you don't think about that.
No, you don't. You really
just
don't.
think, oh, I'll just clean it up afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
That's it.
I think a good example, and I know it's,
Flowers.
yeah, I think a good example, and I know this is like a weird, but it's just like our borders, like our U.S. borders, you know what I mean? It's we're meant to have it's for a reason, it's not because we don't care about people or we don't want people over here, or you know what I mean, but it's meant, as a form of like control, like it's meant to, to see, who am I gonna allow? Am I gonna allow in terrorists?
Yeah.
Am I gonna allow in drugs? Am I gonna allow in, certain people? Am I gonna allow in criminal? That's what the border's about. It's about protecting, who we are, because if you let, and we're seeing that you let this rush of people, it gets out of control. You can't control because you're just allowing so many things to go through, and it's the same like in your life, you can think, oh, well, I can control, if I don't have, borders, if I don't have boundaries, I can just control what I'm doing, or I can control how much, but you can't in reality, because if you don't have anything to stop it, you're just basically opening the door for whoever, for whatever, and it goes the same thing with your, like even with your, like your anger, your emotions, and so I think that's important too, is, just even having boundaries like in your emotions, like let's say like you're a really angry person and you don't put a limit on it, then that's gonna hurt you. So anyway, so I feel like that's a good picture of you having boundaries, because if you don't have boundaries, you're just gonna let whatever comes in, and you're just gonna have this attitude, like you said, like, oh wow, who cares, like you said, I'm gonna manage it, but you can't, you can't manage it, so
Yeah, and I think as younger people, I remember when I was a teenager, we thought that we could manage like you said, the damage to ourselves.
yeah,
Like we knew the consequences, like you said, were bad.
yeah,
But at least for me, anyways, I thought that I could do it in a way, I could break the rules in a way that it only hurt me,
yeah,
not anybody else. But that's not how it works. It's like when you drop a cookie or you drop a plate, you can't control where it breaks, how it breaks, and where it falls.
yeah,
Like there's or same thing with the cookie, that's the way the cookie crumbles, there's no, you can't pick up every crumb, and there's no way to put that plate or the cookie back to the way it was. And I think that's a dangerous thing with not having boundaries, is that anything can come in and destroy you,
yeah,
but you're not going to be able to put yourself back together. And I think, like just like you said earlier, it's really important to understand that those boundaries are for your safety. They're for your value, so that you are like a better person. It's not because we're just trying to be people who tell you no, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's for you. Like some of us, we're speaking from experience about how we're like, hey man, I didn't do this, and I don't want anybody else to feel this way, or I don't want anybody else going through these certain things. So we're trying to help out you guys by saying, hey, boundaries help.
yeah.
Having walls help in your life.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of like whenever I was 18, even before that, I was constantly, I had the 5-finger discount. And, when you're young, you don't think about it. Like, you're just like, oh, well, I haven't got caught yet. Oh, nothing's happened to me yet. And it as you get older, things progress. And like, there was a moment at the mall where like, we got caught, but then there was a sense of relief because I didn't get caught, but my cousin got caught. So I thought I was more slick, so I kept doing it until I turned 18. And I ended up getting caught at Walmart. But the principle that, like, even if it's not like a big amount, money-wise, the matter of the fact, the principle of stealing,
Yeah.
like, that's wrong, like, and there's consequences. And so, like how I said earlier, how it follows you, like, you don't think about it, but like that went on my track record for a while.
Yep.
You had to deal with the court, I had to deal with it. And then it took away a night from my son. Like, I couldn't go home to my son. So, like, you know, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about him. I didn't think how it was going to affect anyone around me. Like, Teresa couldn't go home early from work that day. Like, it was just like a domino effect. Like, it just constantly just, we don't see it that way in that moment in time, but like our decisions or anyone's decisions can just trickle on down.
Yeah, it has a ripple effect.
Yeah, there we
you
go.
know?
That's the word I
Yeah.
was looking for.
Well, yeah, even like today, like here, especially where we live, you know, one of the things that, you know, all these businesses are having problems with is people going in and just taking stuff. And the reason they're able to go in and take stuff is because there is no penalty for what they're doing. You know, I mean, they know it's against the law, but they also know that if they get caught, there's nothing's going to happen to them. But yet these businesses are having to shut down, you know, and they're losing a lot of money, or they're having to relocate, or just different things, you know, because of that, you know. And so,
Yeah, well, and then it's getting ridiculous because they know there's no boundaries. They know there's no penalty, and it's the same thing. Sorry, it's the same thing with you as a person. If you don't have boundaries and you know you're not gonna see any immediate consequences, you're gonna keep doing it until it's like this ridiculous thing, and eventually something's gonna happen, some kind of negative effect. But not even that. It's people are going to realize that you don't have boundaries, and they're going to keep coming in and doing these ridiculous things in your life, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse until you set those boundaries. So it's understanding that it's not just to be a better person, yes, but it's also because there are other people in this world who don't have boundaries, and they will take advantage of the fact that you don't have any either. They will come into your life. They'll bring their baggage, just like we were saying the last episode about like having a garden in your yard and everything. They will bring whatever they want, and they will take out everything that they want, and you'll be left with nothing. You'll be left with broken things. You'll be left with trash because you didn't set boundaries. So it's just understanding that. Sorry.
yeah. Well, yeah, like we said earlier, the boundaries are for you. You know, it's not just, it's to protect who you are, you know, it's to protect, you know, because your decisions, you know, you're becoming somebody. So your lack of boundaries or your boundaries are helping to shape that, you know. And so either you're going to make the choice as to what, or somebody else is going to make it for you. Other things are going to make it for you, or you're going to swallow a lie or whatever, you know. But it's really, really, it's up to you, you know. And if you don't have boundaries, whether you like it or not, you know, somebody else is shaping who you are. Something else is shaping who you are, because you're not setting any standards or any boundaries in your life. And that's what we're trying to say. You know, it's really the opposite of, you know, we said that setting boundaries, you know, it put a protection around you. You know, it put protection around what's valuable. You know, it was for your defense. You know, but without that, then you don't have any. You know, you don't have any defenses, and you're just gonna continue to be who you are and get worse. If you have anger issues, if you have like depression issues, it's only gonna grow. You know, so.
And then, like, I know some people, they think, well, it's just me, myself, and I, and I'm only gonna hurt myself.
Yeah.
But you are gonna hurt other people,
Yeah.
and especially if you care about other people, whether you like it or not, you're gonna hurt them. Because I know some people, like, they don't have boundaries and like emotions or in just how they react to things, and they think, oh, I would never do that to them. I would never lash out on them. But you will.
Yeah.
Eventually. Because you're never, like, you're not setting it. And just because you're not, you know, like, punching people doesn't mean that you can't, like, it won't, there's stuff that won't lead up to that, you know? Like that, what you were saying, constantly in and out, in and out, in and out. Like, if you're not putting a rein on your emotions or whatever it is, eventually it'll lead to like a bigger problem, like how you were saying, and like you'll hurt somebody, like hurt though.
Yeah, and I think it's just understanding that as people, we have boundaries, but in our lives we are not just our own little box, and we're our own little box, and we can control who we affect and who we don't affect. We have boundaries in our lives because we are constantly going to be affecting other people. That's what the boundaries are there for, because there is constantly going to be an in and out of people in our lives. We're not I'm here, you're there, and I will make sure we never touch, because that's not the way it goes. That's not how life is.
Yeah, really, it's just the biggest thing that I had to learn was just life isn't about me.
Yeah.
Just about me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying like don't take care of yourself, whatever. Like, but what I am saying is that whether you like it or not, life isn't just about you.
It does not revolve around
Yeah,
you.
yeah. The world's not gonna stop just because you had a bad day or because of whatever.
Yeah.
Life goes on, and you got to learn how to
Navigate.
and roll with the punches and realize that what you do, good and bad,
Is gonna affect
someone else.
Yeah.
So
and
don't be selfish.
Yes, don't be selfish. Yes, so we're trying to help you with don't be selfish.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to stop there, and we're gonna take a quick break, and we will be back. Bye.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Of us, but it's the lie that lies inside that captures the depth of desires and false messiahs. We see pleasure in anything, we overestimate everything, endlessly trusting an empty entity, secretly searching for anything in moments of blessing while exiting edicts of Eden over our ecstasy. When a good God gives good gifts, we generally tend to twist the list and take the list of good gifts that God tends to give and make general gods out of gifts. I suppose what exposes the worship in most of us is a close look at most of our thoughts, fears, and emotions.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about how we're selfish, and we're just gonna expand on that conversation.
All right, take it away.
Take it away.
Take it away, somebody. Take it away.
Well, we were just saying before about how about how we're selfish. We just think about ourselves, our feelings, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, sometimes. That doesn't mean like put everybody before your own feelings, but that doesn't mean that only your feelings matter. And I think today, in the culture of today, it's all about your personal feelings, and everybody else's is pushed to the side as long as you feel happy. And as somebody who's been pushed to the side to make somebody else happy, it doesn't feel good. And I think, well, that's the whole point of not just boundaries, but of purity. Purity is filtering those things out, but also about how like your boundaries, they help you become a better person. So that way you're not just thinking about yourself, because you've got like a clear head. You're not all messed up by everybody else's thoughts, that you're actually just thinking about others as well. I don't know how that kind of got away from me, but I don't know what else to say.
Did you want to add to that?
No, I don't know.
Okay, she doesn't want to add to that. Well, one of the things I was thinking out, we do live in that time, in that environment where it's all about like your identity. Like it's about you. It's about what you think, what you feel, but really in reality, I mean, you're kind of getting all those influences from all around you as well, but at the same time, like what she was saying, you can't think that your decisions don't like affect anybody, because we kind of live in that kind of society. Well, it's what I do, it shouldn't matter to anybody else. As long as I'm doing what makes me happy, or as long as I'm doing what makes me feel good, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters, but it does matter. What you do is going to affect the people around you. What you do is going to affect more than just you, and not just even just your immediate, people around you, but, maybe where you go to school, or, where you work. What you do does make a difference in other people. You might not think so, but it does, And so that's one of the things is that, we just live in that, what we call that individualistic society, where, it's just about you, but it's not just about you, and boundaries is more than just, it is, that you're valuable, and it's not, I guess, something that we kind of repeat a little bit, and I kind of want to clarify, we're not trying to get you to be like, what is that? A better you, that's not what this conversation's about. It's not about, becoming a better version of yourself, but really it's about building something inside of you, building some character inside of you, teaching you how to like equip yourself, for what lies ahead, because we're all going somewhere. We're all headed somewhere. We're all on a road going somewhere, whether that's in school, whether you're like in middle school, whether you're in high school, whether you mean like we're all going somewhere, and it's, we're not talking about, you just becoming better, but actually having some depth to who you are, not just being this shallow, selfish person, because that's not what we're saying, we're not saying, because that's kind of what you see everywhere, what you see in social media. We live in that selfie generation, where it's, and that's what it's about. It's about self,
Well, it's about like gratification, where everybody's identity is based off of feeling good right now, about feeling satisfied right now. And it's like you said, we're all going somewhere, and if you only base your identity and who you are through how you feel right now, it's not going to work, because you're not going to feel how you feel right now later. We said that in our previous episode about your emotions. Your emotions are a roller coaster, and if you're just relying on that because you have no boundaries, your life is not going to be safe. It's not going to be like a straight line. You're going to be going everywhere. And I remember one thing my mom said was that, like, if you're not putting boundaries on your own life, somebody else is going to do it for you. If you're not putting guardrails, if you're not setting things up for yourself, if you're not thinking for yourself, someone's going to think for you. Someone's going to make the decisions for what kind of person you want to be. They're going to decide who you are, not you. And I think that's, like you said, about having identity. It's making sure boundaries are there to make sure that who you are is who you want to be, not necessarily what everybody tells you, but it's the character, like you said, building up, the things that you learn from hard work, the things that you learn from sacrifice, and sometimes the things you learn from pain. It's because of those things that have happened in your life. And I think that's, like, you can't just be all about right now, gratification right now, because it's not going to work later on in life.
Yeah, because I have to say that what seems fun right now and seems cool right now, probably when you're older, it's probably going to seem shameful. You're probably going to be ashamed of those times that you supposedly have fun. Yeah. And then especially if you become a parent, you're going to probably do everything in your power that they don't have so-called the fun you had when you were that age. Yeah. And so I know as a kid, as a teenager, you're very much, I want to have fun, I want to live my life up, and but a lot of times, it's fun right now, but like it's like how we said before.
You think it's fun?
Or you think it's fun because someone else has told you that it's fun. Oh yeah, it's great. But then you're like uncomfortable the entire time that you're there. Yeah. Because like I've had that situations where I'm with a group of friends and they take me somewhere because supposedly it's fun. And I go and I'm very uncomfortable. And I'm with all these people I do not know, who do not care about my safety, who are just, especially since as a girl, they see me as prey and I'm tiny. So they it's even more of I know if you look at me, I'm not intimidating whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. So I know for a fact people see, and I smile, so I seem more welcoming. Yeah. So I'm just seen as prey, and I can feel it, but they don't, because they're all, maybe they've just gotten used to the feeling, or even get off of high that feeling that someone wants me, man. Yeah. And but yeah, that's the big thing about boundaries, is just that you can't just be thinking about having fun right now, because you might regret it later, or it might put you in a situation that you're going to regret in the near future. And then also you might be putting others in danger as well. Yeah. And you might be hurting other people. Because I know, especially the guy friends that I've had in my life, because they want love, and even girls are bad at this too, because they want to love and they want attention. They will take from, like Teresa was saying, and I think one of our earlier ones, they will take and take and take and take and not take in consideration what that's going to affect them, how it's going to affect their view of people, their view of men, their view of women in the future. So they turn into these horrible people, probably because you took part in that. You showed that, well, all women are like this, all men are like this. So then you screw up their view. Yeah, because all you were worried about was, well, I'm lonely, or I'm bored, or, you know, I just want to have fun. So you take advantage of people to make you feel better. Like,
And even just defining fun, you know, we're not saying that you can't have fun, but even that, by today's standards, you know, what's fun, you know? I mean, to me, a lot of it seems like just reckless stuff, you know. Let's go shoplifting, you know, or let's go, you know, get sick, you know, and throw up in the bathroom. You know, I mean, whatever, you know, that's what people call fun. You know, they come back from a weekend of drinking and, we had such a great time, you know, and you're sick, you know, you have a hangover, you know. Yeah, you know, and you spend your money on stuff, and it's like, you know, that's not what, you know, what some might consider that, or, you know, or having, you know, 3 boyfriends, or, you know, 5 chicks, you know, you consider that fun, but that's not, you know, that's just dumb, you know, or foolish. That's one of the things that, even going back to one of our first podcasts, was talking about being a foolish person and being a wise person. You know, you can have fun without being foolish. You know, go do something, like I said, we talked about, you know, my daughter went skydiving, you know, that's fun, okay? That's something that you're going to enjoy and you're going to remember, you know, or, you know, they went, you know, to visit some place they've never been, you know, they went to vacation in Florida, or they took a road trip, you know, somewhere and went, you know, things like that, you know, or just simple stuff, you know, going to the forest or going to some spooky tunnel, or, you know, stuff like that, you know. So
Making
you know,
memories for your future
yeah,
self that
yeah.
you're not going to feel ashamed of.
Yeah, and so I feel like, you know, we have to kind of clarify that, you know, we're not saying don't have fun, but make sure that your fun is healthy, you know. So we're probably going to have to kind of end our discussion, but we'll be back in 2 weeks and start a new conversation. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
thanks for listening. Join us for our next podcast. You can contact us through Instagram at podcast412 or email us at 412fight@gmail.com. See you next time.